Remembering Connecticut, Connecticut's lost industrial crafts. In the early 1800s, Connecticut was a pioneer in the growth of American industry. Its hundreds of factories, large and small, poured out hats and pins, guns and tools, and hundreds of other products that supplied the rural regions of the South and West. But much of Connecticut's industry remained dependent on the manual abilities of its skilled craft workers. Danbury's hat industry, for instance, depended on the deft touch of its skilled hatters, and the state's glass industry required experienced bottle blowers. Such industrial craftsmen received high wages and largely determined how and how fast their work was done. For those very reasons, Connecticut employers were eager to find ways to circumvent their power. Many introduced innovative machinery, not only to improve technical processes, but also to weaken the hold of the skilled industrial craftsmen. Automatic hat-making and glass-blowing machines, for example, meant employers no longer had to depend on the skills of hat-makers and glass-blowers. No group of skilled industrial craftsmen were more powerful than the hand-casters in Connecticut's burgeoning brass industry. John Monaghan's grandfather and uncle were among them.
They were the ones that knew the secrets of the trade, but they had no formal education, no scientific education, and a lot of it was hit or miss, but they carried it all in their heads. And they were independent contractors. They were not employees of the company.
With the expansion of production during World War I, the brass companies decided to challenge the hand casters.
They brought the technical people in from Yale, Sheffield Scientific School, and that was the end of the ball game as far as the old hand casters were concerned. My uncle, Bill, who was the head of the casting shop, was really a casualty of that change.
In some ways, the mechanization of the casting shop was also a boon for workers. Fred Kelly worked in the casting shop at Bristol Brass.
This was supposed to be modernizing when I come in. They had it by a fork. One man hold it. And they had something like something made out of I would call it cement. And the pot was only, I say, a foot in diameter and about 16 inches deep. And they set it down into coal and used to heat it by coal and air until the brass melted, and they take it. One man tie a strap around his body and the other man put something like a change over the top of it and pick it up. And the other man, it was three of them, pour it. You have to pour it with a stick. The work is much easier than it was the old way, because what you had to do, all bull work. When you pour it in the flat molds, you got to take that hot stuff out by hand with the tongs. After they changed that, they made it so it worked by hydraulic, by air pressure, to tilt the furnace.
But the new technology also abolished the craft of hand casting and led to the de-skilling of the work, as brass workers from the Seymour Manufacturing Company observed.
See, you're directed to what to do. See, years ago, it seemed the operators had the technicalities and were proud of their work and be able to do their job, what the customer demands are and what the shop wanted to do. Now there seems to be that they wait for management to tell them what to do, and if it doesn't come out right, so what? And,
it's governed by them. It's not
they're
the
a bit
casters
soft
anymore.
and this and that. Before, the caster used to know what to add and what not to add.
That's when he was a caster. Now it's all batched for you.
Well, see, years ago they didn't have all these your equipment and everything else to check out what you're doing, and they relied upon people to do it.
While the last hand casting shop closed a few years ago, some craft skills have survived in Connecticut industry. Some of them, such as chromium electroplating and manual drafting, are now threatened by new technologies. What is progress for some may mean for others the loss of their occupation. Cleaner, easier work may also be de-skilled and without challenge. What is the price of progress? And who should pay that price?